Welcome back, third graders. It's Miss Hensley, and we are going to be doing some vocabulary together for Unit 4. And if you'll recall, Unit 4 is what is the best way to get things done? That's our big question, and we've already decided that it's working together. And so today we're going to learn some more social studies vocabulary that's going to focus on working together. So if you'll recall from before we went on break, our procedure, our routine for doing vocabulary is we read the objectives. I read them out loud, then you repeat them. Our objectives are there to tell us why we're learning the vocabulary. Okay, and then we'll go through each slide, and you will have your handy-dandy notebook, and you will write down the words, their part of speech, and the definition in your notebook so that you can add them later in the week to your My Vocabulary notebook on MyNG Connect. All right, so we should be ready to go. I hope you have all of your things ready. If you don't have a paper or a notebook and a pencil, pause the video here. Let's start this. Remember, we're going to repeat. So I will say the objective, and then you will repeat it. And I will say it's my turn when I'm going to say it, and your turn when you're going to repeat it. All right, I think you've got this down. Let's get started. My turn. I can learn social studies vocabulary. Your turn. My turn. So I can use academic language in discussions and writing. Your turn. My turn. I am successful when I write the new vocabulary words, their parts of speech, and definitions into my notebook. Your turn. All right, so we are going to learn some new social studies vocabulary. This is a social studies unit, so talking about people and working together. We're going to learn some new words, and we're going to write them down in our notebooks. And then later in the week, you will add them to your My Vocabulary notebook on MyNG Connect, and you'll play some games to practice them. So here we go. Maybe. All right. So if you recall from before, same procedure as last semester. As each keyword or vocabulary word appears, you're going to rate how well you know that word with your fingers. If you know it very well, you can tell me the definition before I even click on it. You're going to give yourself a 1. You can either put a finger in the air, you can write a little 1 down in your notebook, whichever you want to do. Okay. If you know the word a little bit, maybe you've seen it or heard it before, you've read it, but you don't know exactly what it means, give yourself a 2. If you're not familiar with the word at all, this is a completely new word to you, then you're going to give yourself a 3. Okay? You're going to make sure that you give yourself a 1, 2, or 3. You're rating how well you know the word before you learn it, and then you'll be able to see how far you've come at the end of the week when you've been practicing with this word. All right, so let's get started. First word, agriculture. That's a long one. Agriculture. Agriculture, agriculture. How well do you know that word? Is it a 1? Could you tell me what it means? A 2, maybe you've seen it before, you've read it before, but you're not quite sure. Or a 3, this is a completely new word for you. Right? Agriculture. So agriculture, 4 syllables, is a noun. That means it's a person, place, or thing. And it means the work of growing crops and raising animals for people to eat. Okay? Agriculture is the work of growing crops and raising animals for people to eat. So it includes farming, it includes raising vegetables and fruits, it includes raising cattle and sheep and pigs, right? Anything we're going to eat, the work that goes into that is called agriculture. Okay. So here's an example. Farmers need to learn about agriculture to be successful. Did you know that? A lot of farmers actually go to college to learn very specific things about soil and rotation of crops and how to keep everything healthy and use the least amount of pesticides. It's actually agriculture is actually something you can learn about in college, or some people just learn about it because they're born on a farm, raised on a farm, and they've been farmers their whole life. Okay, agriculture. If you need more time for agriculture, pause the video now. Otherwise, we're going to move on. And our next word is crop. Crop. How well do you know crop? Crop. It's a noun. And it means a large amount of plants a farmer grows, usually for food. Okay. So a crop is a large amount of plants a farmer grows, usually for food. So remember, agriculture is plants or animals that are grown for food. When we're talking about a crop, we're talking specifically about plants being grown, usually for food, but it can also be a crop of like flowers that are going to go to a flower shop. Okay. So the wheat crop is very good this year. The farmer will have a lot of wheat to sell. Crop. Okay, that's how we refer to the large amount of plants a farmer grows, because it's usually for food, but not always. It could be something like flowers that are being used for pretty, or it could be something that's being used for medicine. If it's a large number of plants that a farmer's growing to sell or to use, it's a crop. All right, if you need more time for crop, go ahead and pause the video. We're going to move on. Our next word is farmer. We've just said this a few times, haven't we? Farmer. How well do you know farmer? Is that a 1, 2, or 3 from you? Farmer. A farmer is a noun, and it's the person, someone who grows crops or raises animals. Okay. So remember that we learned that the suffix er is someone who does something. So a farmer is someone who farms, right? Someone who grows crops or raises animals for food, right? Farmer, remember that suffix er means someone who farms, someone who grows crops or raises animals. So the farmer is on his way to clean the barn and feed the cows, right? Farmer. If you need more time for farmer, go ahead and pause the video here. All right, we're moving on. Our next word is field. I know it's probably been a long time since you guys have seen a field. It's been entirely too long since we've been at the school to see our field. How well do you know the word field? Is that a 1, 2, or 3 from you on the word field? Field is one syllable. It's a noun, and it means an open space of land, which is sometimes used to plant crops. Okay, so a field is just an open space of land. Okay, we have a field at school that we play on. It's that grass area and out by the playground. That's a field. It's an open space of land. When you're talking about a farmer's fields, then you're usually talking about areas where they plant crops or they have animals grazing. Okay, field. A rainbow appeared over the field. How are you feeling about the word field? Did you get it all written down? If not, go ahead and pause. We're going to move on. And our next word, harvest. Harvest. How well do you know harvest? Is that a 1, 2, or 3 from you? Harvest. Harvest is a verb. That means it's an action, and it's the gathering the crops that are ripe or ready to be picked. So, for example, if the crop that you are growing is flowers, and the flowers are all ready to bloom, then you would harvest them. You would pick them so that you can sell them before they bloom, so that they're pretty when people buy them. If in our one example with the farmer, they had a wheat crop, right? If the wheat is ready to harvest, that means it's ripe, it's ready to be picked and taken and turned into things like flour, which they use to make cookies and cake. Harvest. The farmer and her farmhand harvest the grapes. You can see they're picking the grapes off of the grape bush and putting them in the basket. Okay, it's actually grapevine. Vine was one of our vocabulary words a couple units back. Harvest. If you need more time for harvest, go ahead and pause the video here. We're going to go ahead and move on. All right, the next word, persuasive. Boy, that doesn't seem to go with our farming theme, but maybe it's going to come up somewhere else. Persuasive. How well do you know persuasive? Could you tell me what it means? Is that a 1? Have you heard it before? Give me a 2. Or is this a completely new word for you? Give me a 3. Persuasive. Persuasive is an adjective, and adjectives are words that describe nouns. Okay, so it's an adjective, it's a description word for a noun, and it means to try to get someone to do or to believe something. So if someone is persuasive or their argument is persuasive, right, then that means that the person or the argument is really good at getting someone to do or believe something. That's what being persuasive is. Advertisements are a form of persuasive writing, right? So when you see magazine advertisements in magazines or on TV or on billboards, that's persuasive. They're trying to get you to do or buy something, right? So it's persuasive. It's trying to get you to do something. All right, if you need more time with persuasive, go ahead and pause your video here. We're going to move on, and our next word is plow. What an odd place for it to show up. Plow. How well do you know the word plow? A plow, okay, or in this case, it's the verb plow, but plow can also be a noun. The verb plow is an action, and it means to break up and turn over the soil in a field. So if you look here at this picture, see, before the invention of modern equipment like tractors, farmers had to plow fields with the aid of horses or oxen. So plow is the action, the breaking up the dirt in the field, but it's also the thing he's using. See this piece of equipment that you can barely see that he's holding on to behind the horse? So the horse is pulling that piece of equipment, which is also called a plow. So it is not only the thing that's used to break up the ground, but it's also the action of breaking up the ground. So in this week, we're using verb plow to break up and turn over the field. Okay. So it's the action of the farmer breaking up and turning over the field. He's plowing the field. All right. That is our last word for today. I hope you got them all down. If you need to go back and rewind the video, make sure that you have everything written down. You want to make sure you have the word, its part of speech, and its definition. You're going to use those on Thursday to add the words to My NG Connect, and I'll be back tomorrow with some academic vocabulary. I know, don't all get excited at once. Welcome back.